What up, my people? Welcome back to another video. It's me, the Radical Latino. Remember, if you guys like what you hear, you guys like what I say, and you guys want to hear more, go to my podcast. The link in the description down below. This is going to be way different from my podcast. These are going to be stories and videos that I'm going to include here on YouTube and not on my podcast. Alright? Now, let's get into it. New evidence and updates on this Amber Guyger, Bothan John case has emerged. Now, the one question that I had since the beginning was, how come she was charged with manslaughter and not murder? That's something almost everybody had, right? So I decided to dig deep and actually came across this. Murder is when it's intentional. You know you're gonna murder somebody, you know the person or whatever the case is. Manslaughter is accidental. So I'm putting up on the screen, the definition of each one and stuff. But I'm gonna say that it should be murder. And I'm gonna prove why on this video. I'm gonna prove why they actually not knew each other, but they knew each other through passing. Okay? That's what I'm gonna focus on. And I'm gonna show you evidence on why they knew each other through passing, or whatever the case is. You know what I'm saying? So before I get into this, I want to touch on the previous video that I made about questions coming up about this investigation being a cover-up and stuff, right? So new 911 calls have not been released yet. They haven't been released, but because they're refusing to release these 911 calls. But sources that have heard the call gave an exclusive little tidbit on the news. Check it out.
Well, multiple sources tell us, close to this investigation, tell us what is on that 911 call. We have not heard that for ourselves because it has not been made public, but here is what they say is on that 911 call. Guyger says multiple times, "I thought I was in my apartment." She realizes that she is in the wrong place while on the call with 911. That's also in the search warrant and arrest affidavit. Sources also say that you hear her saying, "I'm sorry," repeatedly to the victim, Botham Jean. And she says, "How did I do that?" She also tells the 911 operator that she is tired. We know that the day of the shooting, she worked nearly 14 hours. What we don't know at this time is how many days in a row she worked, how many hours did she work. The Dallas Police Department has not released that information, and we have asked for it.
So they haven't released the phone calls yet, but as you guys heard, sources close to these news media outlets, they've confirmed certain things that they said in the call. Now, this is the thing. Remember that these sources don't mean anything. All right, these sources just mean that there is a 911 call out there, and that they heard it. That's all it means. That doesn't mean that she's innocent. It doesn't mean that it corroborates what she said. Remember, you just heard little snippets of what they said, that this is what's on the 911 call. But remember, even if the 911 call is released, the whole thing probably isn't gonna be released. The whole thing is not gonna be here out in the open. What they're gonna do first is they're gonna chop it up. That's what they're gonna do, and you're gonna hear it here first. I believe that they're gonna chop up the 911 call and release it and saying like, "Oh man, she was a victim," and this is how it's gonna skew the whole image of her. This is how it's gonna skew. You know what I'm saying? Have more sympathy towards her. So that's what I believe is gonna happen. Because just because there's sources out there saying, "Oh, the 911 call is out here," and all this other bullshit, that doesn't mean that it's gonna be the full original full story. You know what I'm saying? We gotta really watch out for these things. You know what I'm saying? So, all right, now with that out the way, I want to focus on, the main topic of this video. Why it should be murder instead of manslaughter, right? So that's why I'm going to zero in on this video. Now, Watch this clip right here.
To your knowledge, are the doors in that apartment complex capable of being left ajar without being propped open by something?
No, those are fire doors, and they slam shut. They have a sure slam on them. I've been in Mr. Jean's apartment. I've pulled it open slowly versus quickly. Those doors slam shut every time you hold them open. And in each version of her story, neither made sense. In the first version of the story, she was playing at the door. He swung it open and surprised him. The second version was really strange. The version captured by the Rangers, which says it was ajar, which it couldn't be, and then that she used the force of her key to swing the door open. But as I described, those doors swing shut. They slam shut. They don't swing open. And
last question before I bring in the panel. To your knowledge, was Mr. Jean in the habit of leaving his apartment door unlocked?
No, Mr. Jean did not leave his door unlocked. He was a very meticulous accountant. He paid very close attention to detail, and his safety was a priority for him. He had a routine. He came into the door. He had a bowl right next to the door where he dropped his keys in. He wouldn't have been the type to leave it unlocked.
Okay.
Now, as you guys heard, she's been saying conflicting stories from day one. Since day one of this whole thing that started, she's been saying conflicting stories. You guys heard it right there. You know what I'm saying? She entered the key, it opened, and all this other stuff. You know what I'm saying? But this is the thing that I found. Bolton John's apartment is $1,478, and Amber Guyger's apartment is $1,378. You know, she lives literally right below it. So I don't want to hear nothing about how long of a shift you work, you were tired, you didn't eat that night, I was disoriented. I don't want to hear shit. The point of the matter is that you know that you went to the apartment. You deliberately knew you were going to the wrong apartment. Because I've been working crazy shifts, you know, one time. I didn't eat like half of the whole day one time. I never went to the wrong apartment. I know exactly, because guess what? When you want to go home, you want to go home. You don't give a fuck about none of that other bullshit. You know what I'm saying? I want to go home. You feel me? So you will do whatever. You will start speeding just to go home. You know what I'm saying? Let's start using facts. That's exactly what you're gonna do. And you're gonna go to the wrong apartment? Get the fuck out of here. Nah, there's gonna be like distinct differences. You know, you already know that that's not your apartment. Why is there a red doormat? Oh shit. Because it's not my apartment. You feel me? So let's cut the bullshit. You know what I mean? So let's look at both accounts that she is actually saying. So her first account was that she was playing with the key, you know, in the front. She was playing with the key. It wasn't opening. And then Jean opened the door. That's when she got frightened, took out her weapon, and shot him, right? That's her first account. Now her second account, after the affidavit, was that she put the key in, and when on the force of putting the key in, the door opened on its own. Oh shit, it opened on its own. The door opened on its own, and she saw a shadowy figure, and then she took out her weapon and shot. Those are the two accounts. You know what I'm saying? Those are the two accounts. Now, let's start using some common sense. First of all, in both accounts, she never enters the apartment.
According to a newly released affidavit from the Texas Rangers, Officer Amber Guyger had just ended her shift, parked on the 4th floor of the parking garage, and walked down the hall to what she thought was her apartment. An investigator wrote the door was slightly ajar and fully opened under the force of the key to a nearly completely dark apartment. That's when Guyger claims she saw a large silhouette across the room, drew her firearm, gave verbal commands that were ignored by Jean, and fired her handgun.
She never enters the apartment in both accounts, right? Now, let's look at both accounts. Now, on the first account, she said, that's what she previously said, playing with the door, he opens, you know, she shoots. Bullet casings will be in the front of the apartment. That was never found. bullet casings were found in the apartment, right? Now, this is where, you know, it's starting to get a little tricky right here, right? All right, check this out. Her second account, she said that she opened the door and she saw a shadowy figure. She didn't enter yet. So a shadowy figure gave verbal commands and then shot, right? So there's bullet casings found inside, and the door was left ajar, which is proven not to be true because the door has a sure slam system. The key cannot be turned on its own when it's not your apartment. It'll turn red.
Exclusive new video shows the doors in Botham Jean's apartment complex. They slam shut automatically, disputing Officer Amber Guyger's claim that the door was open when she arrived. All of the doors in the Dallas complex are heavy metal fire doors with 2 deadbolt locks. They open using plastic keys. If the wrong key is used, a red light flashes. When the right key is inserted, the light turns green.
As you guys just saw on this video right here. So, these things don't make sense. There's something not going on here. Now, this further tells me that she actually knew the individual. One, witnesses, you know, they said that they heard knocking, saying, "Let me in, let me in." Right? So they heard knocking, "Let me in, let me in." So it would to assume that, you know, they knew each other in passing, but this man was like, "Yo, what the fuck is going on? You know, let me open the door. What's up?" You know, what witnesses say that there was a little exchange of words going on. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, he doesn't know her. He just knows her from the building. And she ended up shooting him because they already knew each other from passing. Why do I say that? Because look at these photos right here. Now, I'm going to highlight this piece of the wall. That's where the bullet casings, the bullet holes is in. All right? This is the close-up. So, from this distance, right, you cannot just say that there was a shadowy figure and I don't know who the hell I was just shooting. You know what I'm saying? There's a wall in between the door entrance and that wall. There's a wall in between that. You can't just, you know, go in and see that wall. There's a wall in between that. So you have to enter in. You know what I'm saying? And there's a bullet hole. So that tells me that she already entered the apartment and there was some words exchanged or whatever the case is, and she knew that she was gonna do what she was gonna do. You know what I'm saying? Also, the reason why I'm saying that she is a liar and you can't believe everything she says is because she had previously shot someone in 2017. She shot a Latin person. His name is Osvaldo Perez. Now, Osvaldo Perez was shot because of her story that she said that he was reaching for her taser. He ended up saying that this isn't true. I wasn't reaching for her taser whatsoever. But it didn't go further than that because he ended up getting a plea deal. You know, he's actually still serving time. You know what I'm saying? He ended up getting a plea deal, but that's what the original count was. You know what I'm saying? That's what happened. He survived that shooting. The thing is, just because somebody got a plea deal doesn't mean that they're not saying the truth. A plea deal just basically says, listen, we'll reduce your time or whatever if you still want to fight it. That's how they get us in the system. But anyway, I'm not even going to get into that. So that's what his original statement was. I'm even putting up, you know, what the lawyer found. You know what I'm saying? Now, there's search warrants for her online activity. Why are there search warrants for her online activity? You know, because more questions have been raised. She's been cleaning up and deleting all her online activities and all this other shit, right? But, you know, some people call her Pinterest. You know, that I previously put that up. But, you know, she said some wild racist shit there. But in her Pinterest, you can see that she's actually spewing white supremacy ideology. You know what I'm saying? She's spewing white supremacy ideology. So now with all of this, you know, her lying, her background in lying in a statement and shooting someone, spewing white supremacy ideology through her social media, and the fact that the neighbors heard her say, "I want to come in, I want, you know, let me in," and all this other stuff, tells me that this is all should be murder, not manslaughter. All of this should be murder. You feel me? Now, other things came up. Both of John's parents want to meet with the DA because they want to know what the hell is going and taking so long, what's going on. And they're getting all the answers that they are requesting, but this whole DA and, you know, covering up of the 911 calls, her toxicology report, is sounding and smelling fishy. You know what I'm saying? It's sounding like this is a cover-up. Something is going on. Something needs to be done. So that's the reason why her parents went up there. I hope they found whatever they needed to find. I didn't get much information on that. And also, by the way, if you guys think that she's still living in that same complex, the complex gave an email, shot an email out to all the residents saying that she moved out. You know, I think she was getting a lot of death threats or something. I don't know. But, yep, this is the update on Amber Guyger, the cop killer, and what's going on in that case. I'm going to study and follow this case thoroughly, extremely thoroughly, and I'm going to keep everybody up to date, all right? So if you guys like what you saw, guys like what you heard, follow me on Instagram and Twitter at the same name, radical_Latino_. And I'm going to catch you guys later. Peace.